Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today on Sandswept Journeys, we are going to be revisiting an old friend. A while back, I converted this Weber Q1000 to be able to use a regular propane tank, like this little 1 gallon or 5 pound guy, and not you have to rely on the little green 1 pound or disposable tanks. Those things, in my opinion, are wasteful, and I don't want to do that to the environment. If you haven't already checked out that video, I'm going to put a link down below so you can see it, and it'll also be linked at the end of this video as well. So come along as we upgrade this grill to some better components. Okay, so what we're going to do is upgrade this Weber grill to using a different propane hose. The one that we have on here works perfectly fine. It's perfectly adequate for what we're using it for. However, I wanted to upgrade it. This is a simple propane hose that hooks up to any tank. It's made out of, your typical rubber, and it's been a good option. It's worked out really well. Plus the adapter that I did on here, it worked out well too. We're going to simplify that process, and we're also going to upgrade this hose. So as you know, we live full-time in our Airstream, and the things that we carry with us have to be reliable and they have to be durable. So the good people over at Alloxity, when they reached out to me about reviewing some of their products, they offered me a variety of things. One of the things that I picked was specifically for this grill. I'm going to show that to you now. So this is what I got. It comes in a typical Amazon box. Open it up. I did open it already just to see what was inside, but I have not opened the product itself. It comes packaged as you would expect. They do a great job on their packaging. And here's the actual product itself. It's a stainless steel hose. It's got a 3/8 end on it, and it does have everything you need inside the package. So, comes in a plastic bag and has your typical warnings that you would expect. Has a twist tie holding it all together here. You get that off, and I'll show you what's inside here. So this is a 6-foot hose, if I remember correctly, and it is really nicely done. It is a heavy-duty hose, got a really tightly woven stainless steel housing on it, which should be very durable. And inside this bubble wrap right here, we have the regulator, and of course we have a pressure gauge. All right, so let's take a little closer look at this hose. As with most, they all come with these warnings in all the different languages, but I am really impressed with the quality of this hose. The fittings, everything about it, looks to be very well crimped. The quality of this outer wrapping is very nice. It's very tightly woven. This thing's got some weight to it. It's got some heft to it. And again, looking at the regulator on here, the regulator looks to be in very good quality. It does have your typical warnings that you would expect on it. Again, the crimps are all very nice. They're very tight, and it looks to be a very quality made unit. The pressure gauge does have a little protective plastic over it. I'm going to leave that on until I get it installed. And as you can see, it has gas, low pressure, and then empty at the bottom there. And these just give you an idea, if you've ever used them before, just a nice little indicator of where you are with your tank. The fitting on here is plastic, but it looks to be pretty good quality. It's snug on there, and it looks to be well made. So we are going to go ahead and get this installed on the grill. But I wanted to take a closer look at it. And I do want to thank the people at Alloxity for sending this to me to review. And it looks to be a very good, very well made, good quality item, much like the other product that I have from them. As always, I like to review what we're going to need to get the job done today. So I always recommend a pair of gloves. Unless you've cleaned your grill recently, it's going to be a little greasy. You're going to need some propane compatible thread tape. This happens to be Mega Tape. I like Mega Tape because it's very versatile. You can use dedicated propane or gas tape. It's slightly different from this, but this is very versatile and it'll get the job done. I always like to have a rag. I have a small ratchet with a 10mm socket on the end. We're going to need that to remove the burner. I'm going to use a small crescent wrench in lieu of metric tools today. I'm going to have a 3/4 inch wrench, a 5/8" wrench, and a 9/16" wrench. You could do the whole thing with just a pair of pliers and a crescent wrench, or a couple of crescent wrenches or adjustable wrenches, and get the job done. So, quick reminder about safety. Always practice good safety protocols. Whenever you're working with propane, you want to make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. Make sure there's no open flame or spark nearby that could cause a problem. And make sure you're testing all of your connections with soapy water to make sure you don't have any leaks. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, quick anatomy of the Weber Q1000. This is the dial to turn the gas on and adjust your flame. Normally, your regulator would be built in right here, and you would have your green propane tank that screws on in this general area right here. All of that has been omitted from this grill in order to use a regular propane line. Again, go back and watch the other video and you'll see exactly how I did that. We're going to remove all of this today, and we are going to use something different to put the new hose on. Okay, we're going to start by removing our grates and get them out of the way. Just set them off to the side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this burner tube. This is where your 10mm wrench comes in. You can also use a regular slotted screwdriver for this. And you're simply going to remove this nut right here. Once you have this bolt or screw out, the burner will just simply slip out. Lift up, bring back to you, and the burner is out. Set that off to the side too. I like to return the 10mm bolt or screw right back to the hole so it holds the igniter in place and I don't lose it. Just like that. Once this is out, we're going to turn around and we're going to start working on the regulator side. You're going to need to close this little flap here to make sure you have good access. Okay, so here's the knob that controls the gas, turns it on and off. We're simply going to grasp that knob, pull straight out, and it comes off. And it has a slot on the inside, so it only goes on one way. We'll revisit that again in a minute. Right here, you have a 17mm nut. In this case, I'm going to use a crescent wrench. I'm just going to come in, we're going to loosen that nut, and we're going to take the entire system right out. If this is your first time doing this, just remember to hold down here on this to make sure that this piece doesn't get too much stress. And again, once you have it loose, it'll just come right out. Make sure you keep that nut somewhere where you can find it. And just like that, your valve body is off. We're going to change this connection out. We're going to cover that in just a minute. Okay, I've moved the grill out of the way, and I have the valve body here with the current setup. So when I originally did this, I got rid of everything from the valve body back towards the regulator. My regulator had gone bad, it was no longer working. I wanted to upgrade to this system. So at that point, the only thing I could find in the area was 3 pieces to connect together to be able to adapt to the hose. I'm going to change that out, and we're going to use 1 piece. And I want to thank one of my subscribers and somebody that watched my videos that did recommend this. Now, I did have to find this online, but as you can see, I'll put the link down below. This is a 3/8 flare male that goes to a 1/8 female MP that'll adapt all of this for 1 piece instead of 3. So we're going to get everything opened up and set up, and I'll show you how we're going to get it done. So I went ahead and removed this from the hose. This is the 3/8 flared male, and this is the 1/8 MP female. And I had to put a coupler in between them because I could not find what I needed. This 1 piece actually takes the place of all of this. So you're going to be using 1 piece and as opposed to 3. And it does fit. I've already checked to see. This will thread right on here, just like this. And then our new updated propane hose will thread right onto there. Okay, we are going to actually put tape on all these things and do it properly. So let's get started with that. So we're going to go ahead and take our mega tape. I'm getting a little bit loose here. We don't need a whole lot. And whenever you're putting tape on threads, you always want to go in the direction of tightening. So in this particular case, we're going to go right around here, clockwise like this. Okay. A couple of wraps ought to do it. I just like to smooth it out. And make sure you're not covering the opening. Now we're just going to take our other fitting and we're going to thread that right on there. Okay. And let's go ahead and get this tightened up. We will need the adjustable wrench for this. We're just going to crank this down like this. Get it good and tight. We will be coming back to check all of these fittings with soapy water when we're done. Okay, let me get another wrench on here. Forget which one it was. It was this one here. Okay. In case you're wondering, this is a 5/8 and it fits this valve body just perfectly. Okay. Kind of fit it on here and kind of hold on to it. You can use your adjustable wrench to tighten the whole thing down. Once you get it situated, that is. It gives you a little more leverage. And there you go. So that's on there. Now we're going to connect the hose to this fitting. Again, a little bit more tape. I like to use tape. I know people say you don't have to on these brass fittings, but I say if you got it, why not use it? And again, we're going to follow the direction of tightening, just like that. Make sure you're away from that flare. Okay, you don't want to leak. So keep it off of the flare. Okay. This hose over here, this is a really nice quality hose. It is super heavy, and I think it's going to hold up very well. Again, we're going to use the adjustable wrench on the fitting, and we're going to use a 3/4 on the hose itself, and we're just going to give that a nice snuggie. Okay. One more ought to do it. And that is good and tight. Okay, let's get it put on the grill. But this is what we're working with now. Much more clean and simple with that one fitting going into the hose and between the valve body. Okay, we're going to now take our completed hose assembly and valve assembly, and we're going to put it back onto the grill. So this will go on in a particular orientation where this part here goes through this little hole for the knob. And this has little wings on it, and these will actually attach in the back up against two little protrusions that keep it from rotating. So you're simply going to slide this through and line it to where it's rigid against those two little protrusions. The nut does have a collar on it. So if you look, it does have a little collar, and you want the collar out. So we're just going to thread that on like that. I'm going to come back with our wrench. Make sure you're supporting this piece right here to make sure you're not putting too much pressure on it. And you're just simply going to tighten down that nut. It doesn't have to be gargantuan tight, but you want it good and snug. And then you're going to take the knob. The knob only goes on one way. You see it's kind of got a keyway on it. You find the flat spot and the flat spot, put it on, give it a good press, and just like that, your knob is installed. All right, let's get this thing hooked up to a tank, see how it does. So we got to get our burner put back in. So we're going to remove the bolt. We're going to simply take our burner, goes in this orientation with the tab down. It goes through this little hole right here. And it's going to go right onto the valve body, slide into place, and just right there. And then we're going to just slide the bolt back through both and right into the hole. Just use my hand if it's in the way. And make sure everything's lined up good and snug it down again. Doesn't have to be any Herculean thing to get it tight, just good and snug. Always test to make sure we've got a good spark, which we do. Okay, there's no propane anywhere near this. It's not turned on in any way. So we're going to get the grates put back in just a minute, but I want to hook up the propane tank so you can see the first light. Okay, let's take a look at the business end of this hose. Again, very impressed with this quality of the braiding on here. I think this is going to hold up really well. This grill travels all over in the back of the pickup truck. It gets beat up, and stainless steel braided hose like this is just going to add another layer of protection. I'm thinking this gauge is going to be good too. Let's go ahead and get it hooked up to the tank. That thread's on really nice. I just heard the tank open, the little click in there, and it's seated up very nice. All right, let's go ahead and turn the gas on and watch the gauge work. And there we go. Hey, another quick safety tip. Whenever you're working with propane, making connections like this, you always want to test them for leaks. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. You're going to need some soapy water and spray bottle, and you're going to make sure you do this process. Okay, so we are going to turn on our propane right here. We do have pressure going. Turn all the way on. We're going to come down here. We're going to make sure that our valve is in the off position, which it is. And we are going to focus on this fitting right back here. All right, so we've got plenty of time. I'm going to flow a little bit of gas just for a second to make sure we've got good gas flow through there. It is turned off. There are no heat sources. And we are going to go ahead and start spraying this fitting. And we are bubble free right there. Okay. I do have, as you can see, I do have a nice soapy solution in here. Okay. And one more good spritz. We do not have any leaks. And I already checked, but I'm going to show you up here. Just make sure that there's none on any of these original fittings that came from the factory as well. We tested all of them as well. And we are, in fact, leak free. Okay, I've purposely left the grates off. I'm going to go ahead and turn the gas on to the lighting, and we're going to light it for the first time. And I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of bright out today, but it lit up really well, really fast. Looks like I got a beautiful flame going there, and looks like the regulator is really well suited to this little Weber Q1000. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off and put the grates on, and we're going to finish this little project. Let's do another quick light so you can see with the grates on. And again, I'm going to have to do this later when it gets a little darker, but it lit right up. I get a beautiful flame going in there and good heat all the way around. So here we go. Everything's looking really good for this first cook. We are nice and hot. We have got a beautifully hot grill, and we are going to cook up some chimichurri. We'll be back to check that in a minute. I have to say that these little Weber Qs work so well. And with this upgraded Alloxity hose and regulator, it's working better than ever. And I can't wait to cook some more. How about that for dinner? Hey, so we've had this Alloxity hose and pressure gauge regulator on our grill now for about a month and a half. We've done a bunch of cooking with it. It's been drug all over the place. And one of the main reasons I wanted this braided stainless hose was for the durability that it offers. And this thing has held up really well. It's gotten very flexible. It's a little stiff when we got it, but it's loosened up quite a bit, as you can see. And I really like it. We're getting ready to cook dinner again here on this grill. And just had to take it out of the back of the truck, dragging it in and out. And I've actually damaged some different propane hoses by doing that. One of them was an adapter hose to use the little green bottles that I no longer have to worry about. And the hose wasn't damaged to the point where it leaked, but it was enough to where I wasn't comfortable using it. So I did discard it and get another one. Now, this one I feel is going to hold up really well. And I think it's going to last pretty much the lifetime of this grill. As long as the regulator holds up and the gauge, we should be good to go. With the abuse that I've put them through already in the last month and a half, I think they're going to hold up really well. So if you're looking for anything like this, propane hose or whatever, give Alloxity a look. Again, the links are down below in the description of the video, and how I did this conversion will be linked here at the end. Let me show you what we're having for dinner. Burgers and some zucchinis. We're going to start flipping right now. That is going to be good for dinner. Some cheese. And again, not sponsored. They did send it to me for free, but that Alloxity hose has been working great. And I want to thank Alloxity for allowing me to do this review. And hey, one of the benefits of being in a place like this and living this lifestyle is being out in some beautiful settings like the one we're in right now. And I just want you to take a look at this sunset. That is gorgeous. Hey, that's going to wrap up this video. Really appreciate y'all stopping by, and we really appreciate all the likes and subscribes we got on our other videos. We just surpassed 100 subscribers, and we're really happy about that, and we want to thank everybody so much. And hey, remember, it's all about the journey. We'll see you in the next one.